Hi, Bor here with another short Escape from Tarkov guide. In this one, we're gonna talk about point fire and why you should always try using ADS, which means aiming down sights, when possible. So first let's disable the laser and let's go with full auto spray here. So I'm not gonna use the whole magazine for this one, but you can clearly see that the gun jumps a bit and then the spray is pretty close and tight here when we ADS. So what happens when we go with the full mag here and just point fire from this distance? To give you a better idea actually about the distance, we are at 11.5 meters here from the target. So this is gonna get worse and worse further away we are. Let's make our aim point here and then witness the pain. So you can see the spray is going wild. Very important thing to notice, like we hit, first shot looks like was on point, but then the spray is random. We have one shot that actually landed below here, our aiming point. And then it jumps a bit. Few bullets landed similar way here, but the spread is much wider here. And then the gun jumps in crazy patterns. You can try to nullify this a bit by using laser, but spoiler alert, as you can imagine, it's not gonna be crazy good. So I had to stop because it started erasing bullets from this spray. So I want to give you like fair comparison. As you can see, point firing with laser is much better than not using laser, but still much worse than just ADSing at the target. You can see this spray here, this is much wider. Also the jump of the gun is much higher. This is one of the things that may catch you off guard and actually happened to me in few raids when I was trying to point fire at somebody from very close range and then I was hitting everywhere, just not at my target. But this initial jump is also what can lose you some fights, so have that in mind when you point fire at somebody. After first bullet, you actually have to always compensate no matter if you ADS or if you point fire. So this is P90, 43 and 144 horizontal recoil. Let's try the AK, which has a bit worse stats here, just to give you an example of how you can actually make the game much harder for you if you still have the old muscle memory. Check the distance here, let's go at least 10 meters here. Alright, so no surprise here, recoil is higher than what P90 had to offer. But again, small jump and then bullets stabilize at one distance. Now let's try point fire with this gun. Again, as you can see, bullets go up, stabilize for a second, and then the really random spray pattern begins. So if you try hit somebody that is probably like 10 meters or more away from you with point fire, without laser, you probably have a very hard time hitting after the first bullet. Now let me show you what will happen with the laser here. So as you can see, laser is much more accurate. We could see this on P92. I stopped before this, erase this, but it will probably go with like some random sprays here and there. But again, main takeaway, you have to drag down now when you spray, even with point fire. And then randomness of your shots may not be good enough to finish your target. I actually try to compensate here. Let's make this as our point of reference. As you can see, it's not that easy to actually do that. It will throw you off, especially when you're used to dragging down with ADS on your gun. You have to drag much more when point fire shooting, but that's necessity in the current state of Tarkov. So, as you can see, switching to your second hand and ADSing makes your ADS actually much more worse. So have that in mind when you play. You always try to stay on the main hand. It's actually similar story when it comes to point fire. So I will skip the No laser, there's no point of using point fire without laser in my opinion. So this is the main hand spray. As you can see, it goes wild, but this is what happens when we switch to another hand. So yeah guys, always try to ADS and always try to ADS on your main hand. Point fire when it's close and you have laser or flashlight. So the last thing we probably want to see here is if there is any still difference between laser and flashlight. So let's spray 2 times. Now we have our flashlight. And looks like more or less recoil is very similar in that case. Alright guys, I hope this was helpful and will make you win more fights in Escape from Tarkov. Thanks for watching and I'm gonna catch you on the next one.